think over 12 plus years of experience into startup space. Currently, he's the co-founder of Code Design and PowerDeck. He was associated with CII Ahmedabad. He worked with Startup Oasis. He has been mentoring and consulting lots and lots of startups, student entrepreneurs, and giving a lot of consulting and advice. He runs an excellent YouTube channel. He's an amazing speaker, and what all he's going to talk about it. All those words going to matter a lot. So I mean, it's not easy to catch him and hear him. So grab his words today, catch hold of him, and get all those ideas that you're looking for. It will help you to consolidate your thoughts and ideas together and curate a wonderful pitch deck for yourself. So without wasting any time, Dilnaz, over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I think what I'll do is I'll share my screen, and
Sure.
I think you already have the presentation, but I'll put it at my end, and then we can get started.
Perfect.
All right. So I hope that all of you can see my presentation.
It's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see.
Perfect. And also, I hope all of you can see me very clearly. You can hear me very clearly. And let me quickly look at the chat. I hope can I get a good quick hi from everybody just to make sure everybody's awake. Can you open the chat window? Where is it? And can everybody drop a hi in chat, please, if you are around? I can't see the link to the chat window. I'll just see if.
Probably you've joined as a guest, so you will not get access to chat.
Okay, I'll not get access to chat. No problem. Okay. So
Guys,
then
say hi or raise your hand so that we can hear you.
All right. No issues. So let's get started, folks. And I hope all of you are really excited for this conversation today. So chaliye, let's begin, and then maybe in the end we can talk about a few things. Okay. All right. So the topic for today is it's crafting winning B plan and business pitch, right? So as I was briefed that the entire conversation has to be around business plan, and then how can you convert that business plan into a business pitch, which is primarily a pitch deck. So we'll be primarily be talking about that. So I have divided the entire conversation, entire session into three broad parts. We look at the fundamentals of business. We'll be looking at the fundamentals of a B plan, and then we'll see that how can you create a pitch deck. I'll give you a broad idea about the important critical components of what goes into the pitch deck, and then last but not least, I'll also be talking about more or less an overview of how can you raise funds, from where you can raise funds, and what are the various sources from where you can get money at multiple stages, other than, of course, the standard equity investor model, which allows you to raise money as a startup, right? So that is more or less like a broad session. But before that, I'll quickly give a quick introduction of mine. So my name is Dilnaz. I currently run two companies, Code Design Labs and PowerDeck. For me, it's roughly been 12 years into the startup space. I have built multiple businesses. I have then exited a few, and rather shut down a few and exited a few. And then I have been a very, very active player, active member of the Indian startup ecosystem, primarily around North India. As Sheenu ma'am said, I have been also a part of CII. So my journey basically began in 2008 when I started my first company. And then later on, I went on to joining Startup Oasis CI in 2013. Then after 4 years of working there, or rather 4.5 years of working there, I started another company called PowerDeck. Now, PowerDeck is something that I'm really, really passionate about, and this is what enables me to do whatever stuff I do around startups and work with amazing startup founders like you. So PowerDeck is a fundraising and strategic advisory company. What I do as a full-time job is that I work with startup founders, help them in creating pitch decks, and also help them with raising early seed and angel rounds. That is what I do. And that's more or less like a look of the website. If you want, you can have a look and check it out later on powerdeck.ie, right? So what do we do is we work with more than 20 plus national level partners across the country, including NASCOM, CI, IMI. You can see a few logos on the screen. And with these partners, we work at multiple levels, train their startups, conduct study sessions, business modeling sessions, and help them to be pitching ready. Most important part, and one of the most important questions that I've always been asked is that what makes me authority on the subject, right? So in my entire experience, I've gone through roughly 4,000 plus pitch decks, and I've actively worked with more than 500 plus startups, and not just that, I have also been the jury on National Startup Awards 2020. I've been a jury at Startup Uttarakhand 2 years in a row, and my company also is a partner with Vijayalani Conquest. So I think I have got enough understanding, enough experience of what investors are looking for. It's my full-time job. As I said, I work with them in day in, day out, and eventually the idea is to help startups getting funded, right? So what I'll quickly do is I have a few polls in order to understand what is the vibe of the room, who you are, where you're coming from. There are around 17 people in the room, but we do not have any mechanism as of this point in time. So can we do the poll in chat, or is there a mechanism, or should I create a poll window if that is convenient to everybody? What do you suggest, Dr. Shinu?
You can share the links with me on WhatsApp if you want, and I can share it right away here.
All right. Or you can maybe ask people to put it in the chat, and then you can give me the broad vibe, right? I think if that works.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
So the first and the most important thing I want to understand from everybody is who they are from the profile. Are they a student? Are they a full-time entrepreneur? Are they an aspiring entrepreneur? Even in terms of full-time entrepreneur, where do they come from? Are they experienced, or are they into early stage? This is what I want to broadly know. So if you can quickly ask them, and if they can comment in the chat, I'll understand what stage they are in, where they come from.
Guys, quickly respond.
I just need a broad percentage so that I can accordingly navigate the content. If that's done, I'll move on to the next poll. Also, I want to understand if they're full-time entrepreneurs, or even if they are working on something, what stage are they in? Are they into idea stage? Are they into product development stage? Are they into pilot stage? Or are they into revenue growth stage? And last but not the least, the third poll, which is the last one, is have they ever pitched before? This is again very, very critical and important for me to understand. Have they ever pitched before? So maybe you can, Dr. Shinu, if you can consolidately give me the answer or a reply to all of these three.
I mean, as I know,
yeah.
So if I look at more or less the audience, 60% of them are students. 30% of them carries like 2 to 3 years of experience, and there are like 1 or 2 who carries more than 2 years of experience.
All right. So most of them are into early stage. That means.
Yes. Very, very early stage.
All right. Anybody into revenue stage? Anybody into revenue stage from them?
One of them is there who's been contemplating into variety of businesses.
Okay.
So yes, she's the one who has been doing it.
Okay. And any of them have they ever pitched to an investor, or have they ever pitched in a startup competition before?
I think 1 or 2 students have pitched into the competitions, but not to the investors.
Okay. Fantastic. So then the next thing I want to understand, and I thought the chat would be visible, I also want to understand from them that how can we make this next 1.5 hours most fruitful for them, and what is their broad expectation in terms of the learning outcomes from this session. If I can get a few comments from their side, what is they're looking to exactly learn from this session, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 top comments that will also help me in understanding what they're looking for. Or maybe if any of them would like to speak, they can turn on the mic and just quickly in a 30-second tell me what they're looking for.
Hi Dilnawaz, this is Vandana.
Hi Vandana.
Good evening, and thank you so much for being there for us. As you want to understand what is it that we want to have towards the end of the program, that is definitely the title. How to craft a winning B plan, so that we can make the best, or in whatever capacity, the best presentation, which we are supposed to deliver on Monday.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Other than that, anything else? So broadly looking to learn how to create a pitch deck. That's the broad idea.
Exactly.
All right. Any other expectations from the room? Maybe any 1 or 2 other comments if any of you would like to add.
Arya, Kanika, anyone would like to add?
Last 10 seconds, or we'll move on.
Good evening, sir. I'm Arya here. Yeah. So we are expecting how can we create a impressive, attractive pitch deck which can, impress to audiences or investor where we are going to pitch, and we are going to present our idea. That's all we are just expecting from this session.
Okay. Yeah. So then what I'll do is, because most of you are looking to understand and learn how to create a pitch deck, I didn't include that. I'm not sure whether I included the resource part into this thing, but I'll give you a template also so that you can start building your own deck. Plus I'll give you a couple of other external resources link as well so that you can learn, right? So what I'll do is I'll skip through the business modeling part quickly. I'll rush through it, and then we'll put more time and we'll put more energy onto the business pitch deck part, right? So let's get started, right? So let's begin with the very basics first so that we can understand what is the investor looking for, what is the expectation. So in order to understand the business model, the business plan, let us first look at the definition of business. And the reason I want to talk to you all of this about is also a lot of times I've seen people not being able to articulate even the definition of business correctly, right? So if let us look at a couple of very simple vanilla definitions. One of the definition is that a business is an organization where people work together. Basically, you can either be creating a product or selling service where you buy something or you sell something, where you sell something, whether it's a product or service, or the next person who's ideally the customer, he's buying the similar product and service from you. And business owner is the person who basically runs the show. He hires employees primarily at multiple stages, multiple areas to make sure all of this happens. The most important, the critical line I want all of you to understand is that business can earn a profit for the products and services it offers, and ideally any and every business that you do has a broad agenda or an objective to conduct generate profits, whether it is a social impact business or a non-social impact business, it does not matter, right? Let us look at another definition. So a business is defined as an organization or enterprise entity engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities. But again, the line I want to focus you for, and I want all of you to pay attention, is that business can be a for-profit entity or a not-for-profit entity. But again, the idea is to, even if it's a social impact, not-for-profit, the idea is to generate some sort of profit so that the operations can sustain. And I'm sure a few of you would want to create a social enterprise that creates an impact on the ground. But again, in that case, you would have to make sure the enterprise sustains. And that's the reason for most of the people who are, or maybe you can make a note of it right now, and we'll talk about it later on, that if any of you has an idea which is for creating social impact on the ground, there's a new model called for-profit social enterprise, and that's what you should be looking at rather than a trust or a charity organization or NGO, stuff like that. So business can be for-profit entity or a non-profit organization that operates to fulfill a charitable mission or further a social cause. This is more or less from the social lines, right? So ideally, in simple terms, you buy something, you make something, you sell something, and that is the broad definition of any business, right? So when you say, when you're talking about the product, you are buying the physical raw material, you put in operations, you put in expertise, you put in a physical infrastructure, you create something out of it, and then you sell it. If you are a services company, you basically, when you say buy, you're basically buying time on manpower or intellect, and then you deliver the same to your customers. Basically, you sell the time, you sell the intellect, you sell the manpower, and in that transaction you make money. So the ultimate objective of any business is to make sure that the profits are there. The reason why I brought this definition right up front is that one thing all of you need to understand, and it is very, very clear or very, very important for all of you who are the first time guys, is that most of the people think that investors like you, or they want you to do a startup, or they are passionate about startups, and if you do a startup or if you have an idea, if you build a company, they will come and fund you, which is not the case. Investors are primarily in the business of generating returns, right? So if you are talking to an angel investor, if you're talking to Angel Network, if you're talking to NHNI, they are primarily looking to generate returns for themselves. And if you are talking to a venture capital firm, that they're basically in the business to generate profits for their limited partners. So although investors like you, but they are not basically serving you or serving your interest. They're serving the interest of their investors or their limited partners. So therefore, when you go and pitch to investors, this is a mistake most of the people do, that they start pitching the product pitch. They start talking about why they are such a great company, wherein investors, or rather why what you have built is such a great product, but which is not the case. Write it down if you can. Investors are looking for returns, and therefore they're looking you as a business also, rather than just a product. So if your product, if your business, if your company does not show them that there's a possibility of generating minimum of 10x returns, they will not give you the money. And that's as plain and simple as I can make it, right? So if your pitch is not able to showcase it to them, therefore they'll not give you the money, very simply put, right? So this is ideally a benchmark or a thing you should keep in mind while pitching to investors, right? So this is broadly what a business is all about, and this is what you should be building it from the perspective of an entrepreneur looking to raise money from the angel investors or from the market, right? Now, in order to do this, there are two broad components we'll be talking about. One is, of course, the business plan. It is more or less like a pre-operational document, which creates more or less like a strategy. You can create a business plan. You can also create a business model canvas or a lean model canvas. If you maybe want to get a link or a framework for that as well, I can give you the link in the end. I don't, as I said, I don't have access to resources right now, but I can give you all these links so that you can start building on your own. So either a business plan is a great tool that you can create, or you can create a business model canvas. And other than these two, if you are post operations but pre-revenue, or maybe post operations post revenue, then pitch deck is the ideal document all of you should have, right? So what is basically a business plan? Ideally, a business plan is a written document that describes basically how your business is going to achieve the goals, right? So as a business owner, you primarily focus on three things: marketing plan, financial plan, and operational plan, right? These are the three things that are very, very critical from the business plan point of view. And an ideal business plan typically covers all of these three aspects from the goal point of view, that how will you as a new business owner get this thing done, right? So very simply put, why do you need a business plan? So business plan is basically a guiding document. Treat it like that. So you need it from the point of view that you have to keep a track of what you want to achieve, right? The simple logic here is, and if you again look at the screen, the simple logic here is, as a early stage business owner, there'll be 500 things that you will be doing, and everything you will be into a firefight. Everything is important, everything is urgent, and you don't know what to kind of skip and what not to skip. And this is another very, very big problem that I find a lot of entrepreneurs, especially at early stage, struggling with, especially because they have lack of money, lack of time, lack of resources, lack of manpower. So therefore, this one document will help you to give a bird's eye view of what's important and what should you focus upon in order to achieve growth or attain growth. And also you should, if you have not made as of this point in time, you should also create a KPI or a success matrix for all of your critical matrices or critical verticals. This will help you in figuring out whether on whatever track you are, whether you are going on the right track or not. Because again, this is a mistake most of people make, that they every day from 9 to 9, 10 to 10, they work hard, they hustle hard, but they think that they're being busy and they're being productive and things are happening. But eventually in the long run, things do not go in the right direction, because once you start doing a business, there are 100 things, as I said, are important, and you lose track of what is important. So this kind of a document, business plan document, or like a BMC or a LMC, business model canvas, lean model canvas, can help you to keep a track on from a broader bird's eye view, right? Now, very simply put, what is the business model? And this is one question everybody is going to ask you. Even as an investor, every investor is going to ask you what is the business model, right? So business model is basically a plan for successful operating of business, identifying sources of revenue, the intended customer base, product and details of finance. And this definition would also apply to a pitch deck, because when we'll talk about the pitch deck, you will see that even the pitch deck consists of all of these pointers, right? So let us quickly look at the components of business plan. So if you simply go out there and Google, you will find that business plan is more or less like a template document. And there are certain critical pointers that you definitely need to cover while writing a business plan for yourself. So if you are somebody listening to me, if you are somebody who's into early stage, if you're somebody who's into idea stage, or rather pre-idea stage, pilot stage, MVP stage, anything which is pre-operations or pre-validation, business plan is the ideal document for you, my friend. But if you are somebody who is post operations, maybe pre-revenue or post operations with some revenue, pitch deck is for you. So therefore, both of these documents have their own utility, right? I hope up till now you are with me. So then let's quickly jump into the components of a business plan, and then I'll take a break, I'll take a pause, I'll ask the question, then we'll move on to the most important part, which is the pitch deck, right? So number one, thing that you have to incorporate or make a part of your business plan is the executive summary. 3 to 4 lines of brief summary about what you want to do. So what business you are in, what is the business like, what do you want to do, basically summary. That's it. A very simple summary telling what business you want to get into and what will you do once you start the business. Very basic, simple, brief summary, right? Then of course you write the company description. What is the company all about? What kind of legal entity it is? Any and everything that helps the reader understand what your company intends to do. That basically goes into the company description. Third and the most important critical part is market analysis. Although you will see this same thing into the pitch deck as well. So that's why I'll skip through it quickly, and then we'll put more focus onto while creating the pitch deck, right? So market analysis basically should talk about why it is such a great market that you've entered into, what is the growth trajectory of the market, what is the CAGR of the market, and stuff like that. So any and everything that shows you a bigger picture, shows that why it is a market worth investing in, that all of the data point numbers, all of those numbers become the part of market analysis, right? Every business has competition, maybe direct, maybe indirect. I was just speaking on this forum yesterday. I conduct a lot of webinars. I almost do talks daily. I was just telling the audience there that on a daily basis, I get almost 10 to 15 pitch decks because it's my full-time job, and on a daily basis, I get that. If in any deck, I see that the entrepreneur, the founder has not mentioned the competition, or they are going by the assumption that the competition does not exist, I literally do not read the deck beyond that point for a very simple reason. I'll give an example. Currently, we are living in the more or less like a pandemic world or the post-pandemic world, right? Now, if you look at what happened from April to May, it was a chaos out there. People were falling ill and they were rushing to hospitals. There was lack of beds, there was lack of medicine. Everything was just kind of a havoc out there. Now, imagine if people would have waited for government or some private body to create a perfect solution where they could have found everything, which never happened. So what happened? People went into social media, started posting information, and it was a chaos out there. But in that chaos, the help was also happening. The point I'm trying to make it was super inefficient method, right? But still, the customer, the user did not wait for the most efficient method to arrive. Of course, once you bring in the most efficient method or a better method, which is like a 10x or a 5x or a 2x better than the existing method, the customer will migrate. But the customer will definitely, for sure, look at how can he solve the problem. That is his main objective. And he or she will not worry about how inefficient the method is, right? So make sure you are able to identify your competitors and mention them in your business plan as well, and as well into your pitch deck also, right? Then you broadly write the description of the management or an organization. Very simply put, you primarily talk about the team members, the organization, the skill set, and other related stuff. This slide particularly translates as a team slide when you write the pitch deck, right? Then you talk about the product and the services, broad offerings of what you want to do, right? Then you talk about the marketing plan. Marketing plan is very simply put, how will you take your product to the customer? What is your strategy? What is your marketing channel? What is the way of marketing? Will you be doing online marketing, offline marketing, social media marketing? What sort of marketing? Any and everything that is the part of a marketing plan should go into the marketing plan section. Then what's your sales strategy? How will you sell? Understand, marketing and sales are two separate things, right? Marketing and sales are not separate. Marketing is basically spray and pray, reaching out to 100, 200, 500,000 people so that they're aware about the product. Sales is transaction, and sales will only happen once you figure out the once you figure out the product market fit, right? So sales will only happen once you are selling something wherein the customer sees enough value and is willing to pay the price point at which you are willing to charge him, right? So you also have to figure out the sales strategies, the sales funnel, broader aspects around sales, right? Then you put in the request for funding, but it is not very critical from the business plan point of view. And then you write the financial projections, right? You talk about what is the broad financial projections and what are the broad numbers around your business, right? So these are, I'll quickly roughly go through them once again. These are more or less like your components of the business plan: executive summary, company description, market analysis, competitive analysis, description of the management and organization, breakdown of product services, marketing plan, sales strategy, request for funding, and financial projections. Now, the idea is also to take you through the pitch deck components in detail. But before that, once you have made the business plan, all of you also need to understand the process of raising money, which is going to be very, very critical, because once you have the deck, you will also need to understand how or what is the process of raising money, so that you can reach out to the right person at the right time. So you have made the plan. Now, in order to begin the process of fundraising, this is the first document that you need, which is ideally and pitch deck. And this is where I'll spend now most of my time. Okay. So this is where, if you want, you can start making notes. So now what I'll do is I'll go slide by slide around every around the important critical components that should go and become the part of your slide, right? So the number one slide that you create on your pitch deck is basically a title slide. Any title slide should have three very critical, very important components. One, the name of a company. Second, the logo of your company. And third is one-line description about your startup, right? This can be an elevator pitch. This can be a one-line description. This can be any one line that basically in one line summarizes and talks about everything about your company, right? It can be maybe a tagline kind of a thing consisting of 4 or 5 or 6 words. It can be a one long line talking or giving a broad perspective to investors. What is that you're trying to achieve, right? So 3 things that go onto the title slide. And now, as I said, we are talking about the pitch decks. We'll really go deep into what should go on the pitch deck slides. So number 1, logo of your company, name of your company, and one-line description of what you are trying to do. This is how you make a title slide. Second slide is ideally the problem slide, right? In the problem slide, you write the problem you're trying to solve. Now, you will find a contradiction here, that when we were talking about the business plan never spoke about the problem statement. But problem statement is where every startup or startup life cycle or journey begins from. You as an entrepreneur will first of all go and identify a problem and then build a solution on top of it, right? And that is how ideally any startup or any enterprise is built. The first thing you do is to identify a problem. Now the business plan lacks this. Therefore, pitch deck is a better document. So you first of all talk about the problem statement. Investors want to clearly look and understand the problem you're trying to solve. Also from the point of view that how big is the opportunity. Now in the problem slide, I've seen a lot of people going haywire, going really wide and talking in general about so much stuff. I'll give an example. I'm not sure whether this has happened to you or how many people you've interacted with, but has it happened to you ever that somebody came to you, started talking to you, started explaining their business idea to you, and you couldn't get anything or couldn't understand anything for initial 10 minutes, and you were like, "Karna kya chahte ho?" Right? Has it happened to you ever? And I'm sure this has happened with most of us in a lot of cases, because people do not understand and do not know how to articulate things properly, especially because we generally in India and we as Indians believe that the more that the word in Hindi is bhumika. The more bhumika we'll create, the more bigger or more serious the issue will look like, which is not the case, right? So what investors would want you to do is they would want you to write a problem statement in single one line, very specific problem. Or if you think your problem is complicated, too large, too broad, you can generally put 3 broad pointers that articulate your entire problem. So problem statement is what is the problem you're trying to solve as an entrepreneur, as an organization, one line or 3 broad points. That is what should go onto the problem slide. You should make sure that you are not overdoing your problem statement. You should make sure that you are writing it in such a way that it is easier to understand and is not super overcomplicated, right? That's the problem statement. Third thing, the third slide is the core customer, right? Now, what is the core customer and why are we saying core customer and not the customer? The problem is that for you as a startup founder, you initially don't have money, you don't have time, you don't have money, you don't have manpower, you don't have energy. There's a huge dearth of so many things as a early stage startup. Now, if you start going after everybody, if you haven't identified who's the ideal customer, it will be very, very difficult for you to channelize your energy in that direction. Therefore, there's something called as, and write it if you can, there's something called as customer persona. You as an entrepreneur, you as a startup founder should be able to create something called as a customer persona. And this customer persona will basically help you to create a virtual person, a virtual image of an ideal customer. A customer persona typically consists of demographics, loyalty, behavior, and other things like that that define a personality or personality trait of an ideal buyer. So the objective behind this core customer is to figure out that who is the ideal buyer and how much is the size of that ideal buyer. So you should be able to articulate again very, very clearly who your customer is and whom are you trying to sell your product to. So that is what we mean by core customer. If you are writing, and let me put it up front, if you're writing, everybody is my customer, all men, all women, all children, or everybody in Delhi, everybody in Jaipur, then trust me, that means you haven't done the survey, you haven't done the market research, and investors will not take you very, very seriously. So you should not be doing that, right? So these are the first 3 slides that go as a part of the pitch deck, right? Then comes the solution slide. Now, solution in one simple line is how will you solve the problem? That is it. Solution is how will you solve the problem. Solution is not the dissection of anything else. So in the solution slide, all you have to do is write one line. How will you solve the problem? Solution is independent of technology. Solution is independent of features. Solution is independent of geography. Solution is independent of everything. It is just one line explaining how will you solve the problem. That is it, right? Then you come on to the market analysis. And now I want to spend some time on to market analysis because this is not just important and critical slide for you guys, but also very, very critical from the funding point of view. So as I was saying, that investors want to get 10x return. Investors want to invest in a startup which has a potential to give them huge returns. Now I'll give you an example. If today you are building a company like a Flipkart and you go to investors and say that, hey, I want to build a company like a Flipkart. And what is company like a Flipkart? Company like a Flipkart it's a generic e-commerce marketplace model. Right? So if you go and take this idea and go to investors, they will not give you a single penny because all the money available for generic e-commerce marketplaces has been sucked out of the market, has been wiped out of the market. But if you are building a D2C, which is direct to consumer, niche, food tech, e-commerce business, something like a Epigamia, something like a Tiny Owl, something like a Sleepy Owl, something like a T-Trunk, then there's enough money available. So what's hot right now? It's D2C food tech e-commerce, right? So the idea is that you should be able to identify whether the market is hot or not, whether the market is large enough for you to kind of make $1 million or $1 billion company, whether the market is on the high growth trajectory, which will come through CAGR of the market, which is compound annual growth rate, and other factors that will tell you whether it is a market worth investing in or not. And if an investor is taking a risk at an early stage for you, he should be able to see a potential of 10x return getting generated for himself. So therefore, market analysis is very, very critical. If I can tell you a timeline, typically founders spend around 3 to 6 months in just doing the market analysis and another 3 to 6 months in just for customer validation. So if you think you'll be able to build a startup in 1 week and raise money in another week, absolutely, my friends, you are in the wrong place. Any startup will take 1.5 years, 2 years to get the proper validation and finally getting the product market fit. And eventually you will take another 1 year to raise money. So it's at least a 3-year timeline. Trust me on that, right? Then comes the value proposition. The idea behind the value proposition is what is the value you're trying to create for your customer so that he will buy your product. So value proposition is basically the DNA of your business. It's the adjective that talks about the value you create for your customer. So value proposition, simply put, why will a customer, or the reason why a customer will buy your product? What is the value that you've created for him so that he will be compelled to buy your product? That goes into value proposition. Then comes the product info. This is where and if you look back, this is where you dissect the solution, right? So product info is where you talk about everything about the product, the tech stack of the product, the IP around the product, the roadmap around the product, any and everything around the product. If you are a hardware company, you can put in a video. If you're a hardware company, you can, and if you haven't built the product yet, you can put in the wireframes, mockups, diagrams. If you are a services company, you can put in case studies. If you are a digital company, like a SaaS company, you can put in the app screenshots or mockups or wireframes. The idea behind the product slide is that investors should be able to see what is that you are building. So product is different than solution. Solution is why somebody will buy you, and product is basically a channel through which that solution will be delivered. Let me repeat: a product is a channel or a tool through which the solution will be delivered. They are two separate things. I'll again repeat: solution is universal, product can change. Product is tangible, right? So no matter whether you're a physical company, hardware company, software company, digital company, or a services company, or a simple consulting firm or whatever, you should put in enough data so that people see what you are going to sell. That's where the product info comes. And then screenshots, IP information, intellectual property information, patents, if you have any, and any and everything that basically gives an idea of what you're trying to build, right? Then comes the competition. I think I've already spoken about the competition. Most important part in competition is if you are a product company, you should be able to articulate the competitive benchmarking. And if you are a services company or a marketplace company, you should be able to create a competitive landscape. Now write these two words and Google it and find the diagrams for the same. And those are the diagrams which are required while talking about the competition, right? Then comes the roadmap. Now we kind of spoke about the goal planning and key metrics and success metrics in the business plan thing as well. But roadmap is basically a path or a timeline of what will you do when and how will you reach there. So investors love entrepreneurs who have planned things and they're not just shooting in thin air. That means that an ideal roadmap is basically a 12-month plan to a 24-month plan. Less than 12 is too short-sighted. More than 24 months is like too far-sighted, and 2 years the world can change, right? So an ideal roadmap is basically an execution plan of how things will happen on ground from 12 to 24 months. And you should lay out your clear-cut milestones into that plan so that they know you have worked hard, you have laid out the plan, and this is what you will be achieving, right? Then comes the financial information. Now, listen to this line very, very carefully. Business is all about numbers, and number is all about money. If you, my friend, do not understand the number from the money point of view, if you do not understand the financials, there's a possibility you might not come from a financial background, but you will have to learn it on the way. Of course, you might have to hire a full-time professional or a part-time professional to take care of finances. But if you are an entrepreneur, bottom line is you are into a business, and business is most critically all about the money. So if you do not understand your financial success matrix, if you do not understand the critical components like unit economics cost, customer acquisition cost, customer lifetime value, gross margin, net margin, or any or other kind of a financial matrix that you have created for yourself to define the success or failure of your business, how will you convince anybody else? That's the broad point. So please make sure you are picking up one or two critical financial matrices that define the success or failure of your business and put them into the financial model, financial info slide, right? Then is the funding ask. Now, funding ask is basically how much money do you want? Now, most of the entrepreneurs commit this mistake, and I'm sure nobody out of you would have done this activity or exercise. When you say funding ask, all of you would put in a randomly thought number that you think might be given to you. You can put in a 10 lakh rupee, you can put in a 20 lakh rupee, you can put in a 10 crore or 20 crore number. You can put any random thing. In fact, when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, in fact, if I would ask you right now, I'm sure I would have got a few answers like 10 to 20 lakhs or 1 to 2 crores or 5 to 10 crores, right? Funding ask is calculated via financial basically financial projection sheet, and this number is as specific as 10 lakh 20,521 rupees, or maybe 20 crore 50 lakh 902 rupees. It is as specific as this. There's a method of calculating it. If you have not done this activity, forget funding. Nobody will give you a single penny because you don't even know exactly how much you're looking for and why do you need it for. So funding ask is basically a derivative of your cash flow projection, financial projection sheet, from where you derive basically three critical information: how much money do you need, what will you do with that money, and last but not least, how much time period you need that money for. That means how much that money will last for, right? Last slide, which is very, very critical, is your team slide. Now, investors, when they fund, they not only fund the business, but they ideally fund the founder or the founding team. They look for whether the founders are trustworthy. They look for whether the founders have created a comprehensive team to implement that particular idea. They look for whether you are a team of guys who can get this done, whether you are a team who can survive under the pressure, right? I'll give you an example. So there was this LinkedIn post by one of the investors of Urban Clap, an Urban Clap, if Urban Company basically, which is now called Urban Company. And I'm not sure if you saw this. Last month, Urban Company became a unicorn. That means it now has got a valuation of more than 7,000 crores, right? So the investor, and this guy was an early investor, he said that when Abhiraj came to us for the funding, there were more than 20 plus hyper local handyman services company in the market. But we chose to fund him because the conviction, the understanding, and the knowledge around the domain of this gentleman and the overall team was out of the world. The team is the one thing. The point I'm trying to make is the team is the one thing that basically will be funded. A bad idea with a great team can still raise money, but a great idea with a bad team can never raise money. If you do not have the right people on board, and if you think I'm a single founder, you will have to go and find people. That there are exceptions, right? Vijay Shekhar Sharma, Ritesh Agarwal are an exception. But then on the contrary, you have Bhavish Agarwal, you have Sachin and Binny, you have so many other guys who have built companies, not a single founder, but in duo or trio or even 4 people, right? So to make sure the team is the strongest component of your entire pitch, because this is something which investors are going to definitely look at and rather scrutinize, right? Now, once you broadly know and you broadly understand what are the critical slides used in the pitch deck, and I'll repeat it for everybody. So basically the title slide, the problem slide, the core customer, the solution, the market analysis, the value proposition, the product info slide, competition roadmap, financial information, funding ask and team. When all of these, one important thing that all of you should understand is that investors, and now when I'm saying the word investors, I'm talking about angel investors, investor networks, micro VC firms, and private equity players. All of these people will only fund a business which is either revenue generating or in operations, maybe pre-revenue. That means none of these people will give you a single penny if you haven't validated your idea or if you are not into operations. That means you have zero traction. Now, let us look at stages at which you can raise money, or what do you need to raise money, and then we'll talk about the stages. And based on your stage, and this is something you can directly correlate with, at whatever stage you are at, I will give you an option through which you can raise money. So money is available out there for every stage, for everybody. But having said that, you will not get money from the private investor, from the equity investor, primarily on the equity model, if you are somebody who hasn't done the proof of concept or who hasn't got the validation done, right? So stages at which you can raise money. So let us look at what do you need to do in order to get funding from equity investors. Now, equity investing, let us first understand that equity investing is very simple. When you take money from somebody and they buy the piece of your company in return, right? So simply you give them like 10% of the equity, which means you give them 10% of the ownership, and they will basically give you X amount of money, which is equal to 10% of your entire valuation. That is how the deal is done, right? And then if many more questions around funding and investment, we'll talk about that in a bit, right? So that is how typical equity investors function. And these are your angel investors, HNIs, angel networks, VC firms, micro VC firms. So they basically need 3 things. Proof of concept. Without that, and I'm repeating again and again, without the proof of concept, nobody will give you a single penny. You can be pre-revenue, you cannot be pre-operations. Then of course, the most important part is you need a pitch deck. right? Without that, there's no funding happening. And then you need a cash flow statement and a financial model. Without these things, you will not be able to help them understand, help investors understand what is that you're trying to build from the money point of view, and when will they get their money back. And without this, there's no funding. So these are the three and the most important critical things that you need in order to basically raise money from equity investors. But don't worry, what are the other methods of raising money at multiple stages other than non-equity investors? So if you are at an idea stage, right? So you can get money from competitions. If you are a student, there are student specific competitions that keep on happening, right? For example, I conduct this program called EOGAC. I'm doing it from past 5 years. And the winner of that program, the international winner of that program, gets $25,000 euro plus a $15,000 euro compensation separately for travel and lodging and boarding and stuff like that, right? So there are specific competitions based on who you are, if you're a student or not. There are a lot of competitions that happen only for women. So if you are a woman startup founder, there are so many competitions that happen only for women. Then there are so many government grants available. For example, Startup India has recently launched a grant called Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. There's a grant money of 20 lakh and debt money of 50 lakh available in that grant. There's another program by MeitY, Ministry of Information, Electronics and Information Technology, and they give a grant of 4 lakh and 7 lakh rupees twice in a year, right? So search for that. Then there's so many CSR. So if you are a social impact company at an idea stage, you can always do a CSR or raise money from a CSR. So there's money available for people at idea stage other than private equity investors, right? Then if you are somebody who's at the product development or prototyping stages, of course, you can always put in your own money as savings. You can always get money from friends and family. But then there are a lot of corporate grants available for product development and prototyping. And these are the people who look for entrepreneurs, innovators, and people who are building physical products or services which align with the vision of the corporate. So if you are a hardware company, you can go to Bosch or Hilti and they'll give you the money. If you're a software company, you can go to Cisco or Amazon, they will give you the money. And similarly, if you are a social impact company, you can raise money from the CSR. This is the money which is available from product development or prototyping stage, right? Then of course the market validation. If you are already in the market, if you've done some sort of validation, then what you can do is you can, one, of course, put money from your own saving, friends and family, but then there are market validation grants available from the government. There are corporate partnerships which are available. So you can always reach out to a corporate, do a partnership with them, and they will give you the money for conducting market validations. And then you can also do small paid pilots with corporate. So there are a lot of ways you can raise money. And then of course, last but not the least, if you are into revenue stage or if you are post operations pre-revenue, you can get money from angel investors, you can get money from angel networks, you can get money from micro VCs, you can get money from VCs, private equity players, and so on and so forth, right? So these are multiple methods, multiple places, multiple ways from where you guys can raise money. All right. Now, the concluding point I want to talk about, and then we wrap, and then maybe we'll have an open house, we'll do a quick Q&A, is that the point I want to leave all of you with is, right? One, there's enough money in the market for everybody. The reason why you can't get money or you are not able to raise money, is number one, you don't know where it is. आपको पता ही नहीं है पैसा कहाँ है. You don't know where the money is, right? Second is, even if you know, you don't know the approach and the method. Third is, you don't have the necessary tools and expertise. And last but not the least, which is the biggest reason why 95% of the startups fail, is that you do not have enough patience, you do not have enough time, you do not have enough commitment to make sure you are able to crack that. 95% of the startups fail because they think starting up is a fun journey, because their perception is drawn from the media, your story, INC42, and success stories. They don't look at the downside. So please, everybody who's listening to me today, keep this in mind. There's enough money out there. There's enough pot of gold out there. It is just, you have to make sure where it is. You should know how to approach it. You should have the necessary tool and expertise, and by tools and expertise, the pitch deck, the business plan, the financial model, the proof of concept, all of these things. And then you should have enough patience. As I said, you will take another 6 months to an year for just your idea validation or product validation. You will then take another 6 months to an year just for the market research and making sure you find a product market fit. And then another 6 months to an year before you raise a formal equity investment round. So this is like a 3-year plan. If you have that kind of patience, then jump into it. And then of course you can rather call yourself as an entrepreneur. The last point I want to note, leave with all of you, because most of you wanted to ask a few questions. I will try and answer it and do a Q&A here as well. But what I would want to kind of give back, and this is, I think Dr. Chinu mentioned it in the beginning also, that what I do is I run a YouTube channel where if you look at the red blogs that are marked, right, these are all long form of content sessions where I have put in all my possible knowledge of being in the startup ecosystem for 12 years. What I would want you to do is the link, you can see youtube.com/DilNawazKhan1. I would request if all of you can go and subscribe to the channel and maybe go first, watch the content, get a feel of it, see whether it's useful for you or not. There are other couple of sessions, for example, developing a startup mindset, everything about mentoring, everything about community, business ideas. If you are a student, entrepreneurship for a student, building a financial model, in startup investors mindset. If you see at the third row, extreme right, startup investors mindset, you should go and watch this video so that you understand what investors are looking for. Bottom line, second last video, acquiring first 100 customers. This will give you a strategy. How can you acquire your first 100 customers, right? So these are long form of content, broad videos wherein you can go and learn each and every aspect of startup journey, and then you should be willing to invest another 2 to 3 years for building a successful company. That's it. So I think that's more or less broadly from my side in terms of presentation. I am open to questions, so we can begin the Q&A, and any other question you have from the content, from otherwise from the funding point of view, business plan point of view, I'll be more than happy to answer it for all of you guys. All right. So I will stop sharing my screen and yep, we're done. All right, folks. Dr. Chinu, are you there?
Anika, you were raising hand, right? You wanted to ask something? Okay. Arya is asking a question. He'll ask the question. Arya, please.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sir, my idea is on prototyping state, where I am alone this time. I don't have team with me, and I want to create a business plan. So how can I put numbers in business plan? Means I don't have any expenditure and all to put in my financial plan. So how can I prepare from that side?
Okay, so can I know what are you doing right now?
Yeah, my idea is to create eco-friendly toys.
No, but what are you doing right now? You must be doing something.
Yeah. Okay. We are getting prepared some prototype, some toys.
No. आप अभी करते क्या हो? आप अभी कहीं पे जॉब कर रहे हो? आप स्टूडेंट हो? आप फुल टाइम ही काम कर रहे हो?
No. I am freelancing social media manager.
You're a freelancing social media manager. ठीक है. तो ठीक है, freelancing में हो आप अभी. So see, in your business plan, there are two broad things that you will have to cover. One is from the, okay, so any business or rather any financial model, and let me rather give this additional thing to all of you. Any financial model will typically cover 4 components. Number 1 is basically your expenditure on capital, right? Which is CapEx, or which can also be said the money you spend on building assets for your company. So that is one thing. And whatever you put in the plan is all projections. It's hypothetical, but you should be able to justify and defend it, right? So sabse pehle you will be writing the capital expenditure. So you will have to note down what are the things you will be spending your money on. That goes into CapEx. Number 1. Then you put all the expenditure you will be making on admin, sales, marketing, soft expenses basically, right? So आप marketing में कितना खर्चा करोगे, sales में कितना खर्चा करोगे, team member कितने hire करोगे, so and so forth. Third is COGS, cost of goods sold. आप जो product बनाओगे, you said toys. So I'm sure toys बनाने के लिए there'll be some sort of a raw material you'll be buying, right? That typically is lagat. So these are the 3 basic expenses everybody is going to make, right? And then fourth thing, which will balance it out, is the revenue, right? Now revenue is something you will have to project, and it is something also you have to make as a realistic target. See, entrepreneur बनने के लिए बहुत simple logic है कि आपको एक target fix करना है कि मुझे 1 लाख रुपए महीने का कमाना पड़ेगा, तभी जाके मेरे 50,000 रुपए की या 60,000 रुपए की 70,000 रुपए की खर्चे निकलेंगे, 30,000 बचेगा मेरे घर का पैसा.
But so there is something into my mind कि प्रोटोटाइप स्टेट में मुझे ये कैसे कंफर्म हो जाएगा कि my designs will be successful in selling all these items in market?
So if they will not be successful, so if the design is not successful in selling, तो business ही नहीं बना, इसका मतलब तो business बंद हो गया फिर तो.
So prototype state में है ना, first I will get this design in my hands, I will check with that, then I will try it into market, then only I will get confidence from the design कि yeah, this item is sellable in market, people are means have a need of such items.
तो आप वही मैं आपको समझा रहा हूँ आर्या, आपने अभी वैलिडेशन ही नहीं किया, इसका मतलब आप ओके स्टेप बाय स्टेप चलते हैं. आपका आइडिया मुझे समझ में आ गया कि आपको बेसिकली ऑर्गेनिक टॉयज का ऑर्गेनिक टॉयज बनाने, ये मुझे समझ में आ गया. ठीक है, अब आपने फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट बना लिया, ऑर्गेनिक टॉय, पहला ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट टॉय बना लिया आपने?
नो सर,
नहीं बनाया. तो फिर आप सबसे पहले तो जाके पहला ऑर्गेनिक टॉय बनाओ.
ओके,
अगला स्टेप तो वही है, लॉजिकल नेचुरल. अगला स्टेप स्टार्टअप का वही है कि आप पहले वो टॉय बनाओ. अब आप सपोज, अब आप क्या बनाओगे, मुझे एक एग्जांपल दो.
I will create some fun toys for
give me an example. कोई भी एक एग्जांपल दो. क्या
rattle for baby.
रैटल फॉर बेबी बनाओगे, ठीक है. अब जब आप वो रैटल फॉर बेबी बनाओगे, उसको बनाने के लिए आप कुछ रॉ मटेरियल परचेज करोगे, फिर आप अपना कुछ टाइम एनर्जी डालोगे, कुछ मशीनरी यूज करोगे और कुछ बनाओगे. ठीक है. अब जब आप वो बना लोगे, आपको उसको बनाने के बाद फिर यू विल हैव टू गो टू पोटेंशियल बायर्स. अब रैटल फॉर बेबी कौन खरीदेगा? रैटल फॉर बेबी खरीदेगा टॉडलर्स के मम्मी पापा.
यस.
तो यू विल हैव टू अप्रोच एटलीस्ट 100 पीपल. इसीलिए मैंने आपको जब वीडियो बोला ना अभी मैंने आपको कि आप वो वीडियो देखो जाकर, पहले 100 कस्टमर कैसे एक्वायर करें. तो आपको 100 ऐसे माँ बाप ढूंढने पड़ेंगे जिनको आप अपना प्रोडक्ट पिच कर सको. इट्स अ वेरी मैकेनिकल टास्क, बट ये करना पड़ेगा स्टार्टअप बिल्ड करने के लिए. उन 100 में से आपको 50 तो बोलेंगे बेकार प्रोडक्ट नहीं चाहिए, हमारे पास तो इससे अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है. कुछ बोलेंगे नहीं प्रोडक्ट अच्छा बट महंगा है, हमें तो इससे सस्ते में बेटर मिल जाएगा. कुछ बोलेंगे कि नहीं देखेंगे. और कुछ 10% ऐसे होंगे जो आपके प्रोडक्ट को समझ पाएंगे या उसको बाय करने के लिए आपसे अग्री करेंगे. then you will have to identify कि ऐसे कितने लोग और हैं, क्योंकि 10 लोगों पे तो आप बिजनेस बनाओगे नहीं. प्लस आप प्रोडक्ट कंपनी हो, तो प्रोडक्ट कंपनी का नुकसान ही है कि आपने एक बार अगर वो रैटल बेच दिया बच्चे को, तो दोबारा तो फिर वो खरीदेगा ही नहीं ना. एक बार में एग्जॉस्ट हो गया आपका कस्टमर. तो आपको तो अपने सेल चैनल आइडेंटिफाई करने, पार्टनरशिप आइडेंटिफाई करनी है, प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट आइडेंटिफाई करना है. अभी तो आप 1 साल दूर हो फाइनेंशियल प्रोजेक्शन से. तो आप सबसे पहले प्रोडक्ट बनाओ. प्रोडक्ट बना के उन माँ बाप को आइडेंटिफाई करो जिनको आप अपने प्रोडक्ट को पिच कर सकते हो. इफ दे लाइक इट एंड लेट अस से इफ ऑल 100 से कि नहीं घटिया प्रोडक्ट है, बेकार है, तो फिर दो ही चीजें हो सकती हैं. या तो आपको प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी इंप्रूव करनी पड़ेगी, या प्राइस पॉइंट चेंज करना पड़ेगा, या ओवरऑल कस्टमर बकेट चेंज करना पड़ेगा. ये तीनों केस हो सकते हैं.
ओके सर.
या भाई क्यों कोई नहीं खरीद रहा, इसका 3 ही ऑब्जेक्शन हो सकता है. तो आप गलत आदमी को पिच कर रहे हो, या उसको प्रोडक्ट पसंद नहीं आ रहा, या उसको प्राइस पसंद नहीं आ रहा. प्राइस भी पसंद आ रहा है, प्रोडक्ट भी पसंद आ रहा है, तो फिर एक ही कारण है कि नहीं खरीदेगा, क्योंकि उसको नहीं खरीदना. इज नॉट द आइडल कस्टमर. तो इन तीनों चारों केसेस में ये चीज हो सकती है. एंड आई थिंक वंस यू आर एबल टू फाइंड, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड इज प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट. आपके क्वालिटी इज वेरी सब्जेक्टिव. आपके प्रोडक्ट की क्वालिटी को बेस्ट मानने वाला कस्टमर, आपके प्राइस पॉइंट को अफोर्डेबल मानने वाला कस्टमर जब मिल जाएगा, मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1 लाख of such people, then you basically will be in a business. Before that, you're just validating and figuring out whether this will work or not.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I hope this helps. Yeah. तो आप प्रोडक्ट बनाना शुरू करो और फिर कस्टमर इनको माँ बाप को रीच आउट करना शुरू करो जिनके बच्चे हैं छोटे, है ना. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
Yeah, so this is Kanika.
जी.
So I want to ask, you said that that there has to be a team. Now, what should be the ideal composition of such a team? Because by profession, I'm a scientist. I'm a microbiologist. So we think in one domain particularly, work in silos. So you want somebody from finance, you want somebody from marketing, etc. And then you have all of 3 or 4, whoever that team to have one ideology. I mean, that's is it possible, feasible?
not ideology point of view से नहीं, but I think the trust is the most important part. I think that in the team the trust is most critical. Whether how well do we gel up, वो सबसे पहले investors देखते हैं, and बाकी चीज उसके beyond होती हैं फिर.
Okay.
तो question क्या आपका exactly?
No, my question is like when you go to pitch, actually, who's the face? Who's the founder? I mean, like, what is the team? Is the face of the
No.
entire business, or
every team in the world has an alpha. Somebody has to be the alpha. If you haven't defined the alpha in your company, that means you don't have a company. There's always one boss. वो boss कौन है वो आपको identify करना पड़ेगा. So I'll give an example, right? And there's a method, there's a mechanism to it, right? So number one question, or let me break your question into two parts. Number one thing that all of you need to understand is team. So ideal composition of any team is of a hustler, hacker, hipster, right? अब इसको आसान भाषा में समझाऊं मैं तो आसान भाषा में बेसिकली 3 व्यक्ति होते हैं मिनिमम टीम के अंदर. एक बंदा जो प्रोडक्ट बना सके, एक बंदा जो उस प्रोडक्ट को बेच सके, सेलू, ठीक है, यानी एक टेक्नोलॉजी बना सके, उस टेक्नोलॉजी को बेच सके, और एक जनरल मार्केटिंग ऑपरेशन संभाल सके, ठीक है. तो हैकर इज द टेक गाय, कोडर. हसलर इज द जुगाड़ू, वो जाके बस उसको बेच देगा. और हिपस्टर इज जो बैकएंड ऑपरेशंस और फायर फाइट संभालता है, ठीक है. तो अब ये 2 भी हो सकते हैं, ये 4 भी हो सकते हैं, 5 भी हो सकते हैं, बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट एक्सपर्टीज यू ब्रिंग इन. इनिशियल डेज में आपको फाइनेंस का फुल टाइम बंदे की जरूरत नहीं है, बट when I say this, initial days में you can hire a consultant, initial days में you can hire a chartered accountant, you can hire anybody from outside, and you as a founder should at least have a broader grip and broader understanding of how finances will work for your business. अगर आपको वही नहीं पता तो फिर आपका बिजनेस ऐसे नहीं चलेगा, ठीक है. तो ब्रॉड फाइनेंस की अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो आपको होनी चाहिए, पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा, उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप. वो या तो सीखो, या क्लास अटेंड करो, या वर्कशॉप अटेंड करो, या बाय करो प्रोग्राम को, बट दिस इज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट इनटू योर बिजनेस, राइट. तो पहला बात तो ये तो आपको लोग चाहिए बिजनेस बिल्ड करने के लिए. नाउ कम्स द सेकंड पार्ट, व्हिच इज हाउ डू यू फिगर इट आउट. सी, इट इज नॉट दैट एवरी फाउंडर इज द सीईओ. मैं 2 कंपनी रन करता हूं आज की डेट में, मैं दोनों का सीईओ नहीं हूं. मेरी जो इसके पहले पुरानी कंपनी थी, इन दैट older company, I was the CEO, and during my journey of that company, and that company got shut down and failed and so on and so forth, I realized I'm not a CEO material. And now what is the CEO material? CEO is somebody who is laser sharp focused. उसको पता है, he's a tiger. He's to get the job done. देखो, entrepreneur ना 2 तरीके के होते हैं. ईगल होता है और टाइगर होता है. ईगल is a visionary, broader level पे, he's creating strategy, he's creating a vision, he is doing multiple things. I am of that category, that is what I've realized. मैं 100 काम करता हूँ दिन में, मैं टॉक भी दे रहा हूँ, मैं YouTube भी बना रहा हूँ, मैं लोगों से मिल भी रहा हूँ, बात भी कर रहा हूँ, मैं बैठ के काम नहीं कर सकता. I'm not a multitasker. I can do multiple things, but one thing at a time. Contrary, my co-founder Neha, she is the CEO of the current business, right? She is like a tiger. लेजर फोकस, उसको पता है कब क्या निपटाना है, कब क्या प्रायोरिटी है, कब ऑपरेशंस में कहां पर किस चीज पे घुसना है और कैसे उसको खत्म करना है, ठीक है. तो यू नीड टू डिफाइन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ एंटरप्रेन्योर आर यू. आई एम नाउ अ फाउंडर ऑफ द कंपनी एंड शी इज आल्सो द को-फाउंडर. हम दोनों ही फाउंडर्स हैं, बट आई opted out not to be the CEO. So you have to figure out what are the qualities you have. If you think you're not the CEO material, don't be the CEO material, or don't be the CEO. क्योंकि फिर आप लीड ही नहीं कर पाओगे. और मैंने से अल्फा, वो अथॉरिटी चाहिए उसके लिए. एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग अथॉरिटी इन द बैड सेंस. यू नीड अथॉरिटी अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स टू गेट द जॉब डन, राइट. So you have to figure it out. And again, this figure out process will take time. It will take another 3 months, 6 months, 1 year of understanding, working with the team, and then figuring out how do you build an ideal team, right? And then of course skills. Another point is skills can always be taught. The most important thing is the compatibility in the trust. If you guys cannot work together as a team, skill तो फिर भी आप compromise कर सकते हो, hire कर लोगे किसी को भी, but it will be very very difficult for you to find somebody with the higher trust factor. तो वो बहुत critical है ये.
Okay.
Right? Again, my recommendation is I have done an entire 1.5 hour video on this where I've given the entire framework. I'll tell you the number also if you're interested. Go and watch that. क्योंकि ये सवाल भी हजारों बार पूछते हैं मुझसे लोग. This is episode number 8, finding co-founder and building an ideal team. Finding co-founder and building the core team. ठीक है, 1 घंटे 6 मिनट का वीडियो है. सारा उसमें मैंने ब्रेकअप करके दिया है। तो वही बात है ना कि ये इतने कॉमन सवाल हो गए हैं कि जहां मैं जाता हूँ सब लोग यही सवाल पूछते हैं, तो फिर मैंने इसलिए वीडियो बनाने शुरू कर दिए। तो आप वो देखोगे, यू विल गेट अ फेयर आइडिया. Another question, maybe we can take 1 or 2 more questions.
Thank you.
Hello sir.
Hello.
Good evening sir. This is Pratibha.
जी प्रतिभा.
हाँ सर, मैं ये पूछना चाह रही थी कि सर हम जैसे अगर मैं कुछ सोशल सेक्टर में कुछ ऐसा बिजनेस खोलना चाहूँ, तो क्या मैं उसमें ऐसा कुछ कर सकती हूँ कि मेरा कैपिटल जो मैं स्टार्टिंग में लगाने जा रही हूँ वो ही मैं लोगों से या इन्वेस्टर से लूँ?
एक्सटर्नल इन्वेस्टर तो नहीं देगा आपको, ये तो फिर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली से आएगा. सो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द केसेस में बिजनेस जब शुरू होता है तो या तो आपको पैसा अपनी पॉकेट से लगाना पड़ता है, दैट मीन्स आपकी सेविंग्स लगती हैं, या बैंक से लोन लेते हो, या फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली से पैसा आता है, या फिर कोई जानकार इन्वेस्टर होगा वही पैसा देगा, या आपने किसी ग्रांट प्रोग्राम में या कंपटीशन से पैसा उठाया है. यही ऑप्शंस हैं. इक्विटी इन्वेस्टर, एंजल इन्वेस्टर, कोई भी प्राइवेट इक्विटी इन्वेस्टर आपको वो पैसा नहीं देगा. कैपिटल के लिए तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं देगा. जितने भी इक्विटी इन्वेस्टर होते हैं वो ग्रोथ और हाइपर ग्रोथ के लिए पैसा देते हैं. इसका मतलब है वो मेजरली मार्केटिंग, सॉफ्ट एक्सपेंसेस, सैलरीज उनके लिए पैसा देते हैं. दे विल नॉट गिव यू मनी टू बिल्ड अ हार्डवेयर और स्पेंड ऑन कैपिटल. वो नहीं होगा. तो इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू. इफ यू नो समबडी वो अलग बात है, बट जनरली तो नहीं होगा.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Dilnawaz, I have a question.
Ji.
I wanted you to just highlight a bit and talk about, what happens many times when they have financial data, they want to put Excel sheets, if they make a BMC, they'll put it into the pitch deck. So, some do's and don'ts, if you can share, and or you have been evaluating so many pitches over the period of time. Okay. What are some 5 common mistakes that you generally observe? Okay. It could be fonts, it could be anything which you commonly observe.
Okay.
And another thing is time limit. I want you to little bit stress upon it in terms of when they are making pitch.
Okay. So पहले ये बात करते हैं कि क्या let's talk about what are the mistakes or what are the things that entrepreneurs commit as a mistake in terms of creating a pitch deck. Let's talk about that first. ठीक है. So by now what I have taught you in this session was more or less on the format, right? कि कौन सा स्लाइड है, कहाँ पर वो स्लाइड आएगा, उसमें क्या लिखना है. You understood this. So you now know the format, you now know the structure, you now know what to write. इसी के अंदर there are 3 mistakes that if you commit those, your pitch deck will not be complete. Number 1 mistake is that you either overwrite content or you don't write content in a way that it is easier to understand. So number 1 mistake is don't overclutter your slides. Don't write too much. Make sure you write small points, very specific points, to the point. The idea is that one slide should be able to conclude one message and then the person should be able to move on. That is number 1. So content पे बहुत focus करना पड़ेगा आपको. Make sure every slide is like written in such a nice and crispier manner कि समझ में आए उस पे क्या लिखा है. ठीक है. दूसरा, अब जो हम बोलते हैं ना पर्ल्स नेकलेस, अब ये एक मोती है, बट माला जब बनेगी जब आप एक कॉमन धागा पिरोगे. वो कॉमन धागा क्या है? वो कॉमन धागा है स्टोरी. A lot of times entrepreneurs, founders, when they pitch, they don't have a story. स्टार्ट कहीं पे होता है, खत्म कहीं पे होता है, पता नहीं बीच में क्या हो जाता है. If you do not have a story in your deck, if you do not have a common thread that connects everything from the beginning to the end, and that's what I'm saying, that's why वो सवाल था कि आप में से कितने लोगों ने पहली बार पिच किया है. शुरू की 20 बार तो आपको पता ही नहीं लगेगा, समझ भी नहीं आएगा कि हुआ भी क्या आपके साथ. एटलीस्ट आइडियली 100 से ज्यादा पिचेस लगती हैं करेक्ट इन्वेस्टर्स को. गलत को दोगे तो अलग बात है. 100 से ज्यादा पिचेस लगती हैं करेक्ट इन्वेस्टर को पहला राउंड ऑफ फंड उठाने में. अगर आपको लग रहा है 2 राउंड 3 राउंड 4 राउंड में पैसा मिल जाएगा, भूल जाना. लेट मी मेक इट वेरी क्लियर टू एवरीबॉडी. सो सेकंड, तो ये शुरू का 15-20 बार में तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि आपका क्या कंटेंट काम कर रहा है, क्या कंटेंट काम नहीं कर रहा, और क्या आपके डेक में कॉमन फ्लो है कि नहीं है, कॉमन थ्रेड है कि नहीं है, कॉमन स्टोरी है कि नहीं है. सेकंड, थर्ड एंड मोस्ट क्रिटिकल इज undermining the quality of design, quality of visual aspect of your deck, right? बहुत simple बात है ना, when you go outside, when you go to a wedding, when you go to an event, when you want to meet somebody, you dress up well, because we as people judge people by their looks. So if you are going to send me a pitch deck which is bad, which is shabby, which is bad looking, which has got bad fonts, which is cluttered all over the place, I will realize that you are not a serious entrepreneur, and therefore, if you are not a serious entrepreneur, I don't want to read your deck. So if I get a deck which is not well designed, so when I say well designed, that means उसमें effort लगाया है. Now that effort can be you hire somebody, pay them the money, get it designed. You learn designing yourself, you buy a course, you learn it yourself, you're a designer, you put in time. Or you maybe get an intern or use a free template available online. I don't know, I don't care what do you do. But if the deck is not good looking from the aesthetics point of view, from the nicer visual point of view, I or anybody will not read it, simply put. क्योंकि सबसे पहले देखेंगे, देख के जज करेंगे, फिर आगे बढ़ेंगे, उसके बाद समझ में नहीं आया तो ड्रॉप कर देंगे डेक को. ऐसे करते हैं. जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि दिन में 10 डेक तो मुझको आते हैं रैंडम, लिंक्डइन से, ईमेल से, इधर से उधर से, रिकमेंडेशन से, कनेक्टेड मेल से. एनी जनरल VC firm analyst gets 5,000 plus decks in an year. आप लगा लो हिसाब कितने डेक एक साल में एक व्यक्ति पढ़ता है, VC फर्म का बंदा. तो आप कहाँ स्टैंड ले रहे हो VC फर्म को पिच करने में? You will get an idea. So you will have to invest, and it's an investment. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि स्टार्टअप फ्री में हो जाएगा, बिना पैसे के, बिना टाइम के, बिना एनर्जी के, बिना कमिटमेंट के, तो फिर नहीं होगा. वो पॉसिबल नहीं है, because it's the high risk, high return, high reward game, right? So पहले तो डेक के लेवल पे ये सारी बातें हो गई. उसके बाद now when you build the deck, you also have to make sure your deck is not just nicely designed, but also designed from the color combination point of view, right? It should have clear lines, bold fonts, contrasting pages. Everything should be written very crisp and clearly. So make sure all of these things are also taken care of. अब बात करते हैं पिच की. तो अब आपने डेक तो बना लिया, अब जब आप पिच करने जाओगे तो मिस्टेक क्या करते हैं लोग और बात. People go haywire. People write too much of content. People, I have seen sometimes start reading from the slides line by line. Don't do that. It is your story. It is your deck. You should have practiced enough. You should know कि वहाँ क्या लिखा है. Your slides should act like a cue card, right? Furthermore, don't while making the deck, don't copy paste and put screenshots of things that does not make sense. Financial model का सिर्फ data का 3-4 point लिखते हैं. You never put in a financial model का screenshot. You never put in the business model का screenshot. You never put in the LMC का screenshot. The problem is I've seen when I said कि business model के बारे में एक line लिखो, people put in the BMC का screenshot, which is a wrong practice. BMC is a separate document in itself. Like a B plan is a separate document. BMC LMC is a separate document. Pitch deck is a separate document. So never put in these screenshots. Never put in Excel sheet ka screenshot. Don't do this. So these are a few more pointers that will help you in probably creating a nicer deck. And last tip maybe I can give you is you will have to practice enough, right? If you don't have a command on your deck, if you don't know what's written there, if you don't know the story by heart, it will be really, really difficult for you to convince the next person. And then last two things from the pitching point of view. One, you should be super confident while pitching, and you should be the best guy to pitch. And what do I mean by that? I think I can build this question on top of, I think Pratibha or somebody who I'm not sure who asked this question from the team point of view. The guy who is great at communication, who is fantastic at creating decks, whether irrespective of the fact whether it's a CEO or not, he should be the one who should be presenting, because pitching is an art in itself. So you need confidence, you need command, you need understanding of presentation, you need stage presence, you need Zoom presence. So all of those things are something that you should have a command on. I think if you do all of these things correctly, then there'll be a higher chance that investors will get what you're trying to do and might be impressed. So these are a couple of more pointers, and I'm sure you will improve upon them with time as and when you pitch enough or pitch more. Right. So these are a few things I can share.
Let's say if they have 7 minutes or 10 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever time to pitch in, where you think like out of 12 or 13 slide decks, where should they spend more amount of time and where should they spend less amount of time?
I think, there's no standard formula for it. the only feedback in that case I can give you is, number one, they should ideally have a command on the entire deck because everything is important. They should be able to navigate through the entire deck from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Uska matlab ye hai ki a few people will say that, okay, you will only have 5 minutes to present. A few people will say that you will have 10 minutes to present. Now the time is doubled. So they should know how much to speak where and with what speed and what points to emphasize upon. If it's a shorter time period deck, only focus on key points and move on, right? Don't go into explainers. If it's more time, go into explainers and try to emphasize on your points, right? Another thing is initial 20 pitches, 25 pitches will help them understand what works for them, because pitching is very, very personal, right? So when I pitch, I know what will work out for me. So I will figure it out as and when I go ahead, and therefore I'll try and, take a pause on those important critical aspects, right? So they will not be able to figure it out initially until unless they have not done it enough. So 15, 20, 25, 30 pitch लगेंगे इनको, जब जाके figure out होगा कि क्या काम करता है, क्या काम नहीं करता, इसमें से क्या content हटाना है, क्या content add करना है, क्या और data point डालना है. At least 20, 30 pitches they will need at least before they come up or before they start fine tuning their own deck. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, Khan sir, I'm from Manipur, and my background is in fisheries. And actually, I have bits of some ideas. Like I would like to start an organic fish farming. And I would like to recruit more women as my partners. And this, I don't have a very strong business plan yet, but these are some of my bits of the ideas I have. So I cannot say that this is an innovative idea, but more like an initiation. So do you think this will make a good starting point for startup?
Okay, so see, one thing is that all of you need to understand and look at the core definition of what a startup would mean. See, every business is a great business, and there's nobody in the world who can tell you whether which business will work or which business will not work. Nobody on this earth at least can tell you that it's a bad business, you should not do it, or it's a good business. Everything is either assumption or experience. That is all I can say. But before we jump onto that, see, understand what ideally is a startup. Startup is something which is highly scalable and has a very strong technology core, because technology will help you to scale to a very, very large audience, something like a Flipkart or a Uber or a Ola. And that's why most of the tech companies are ideally a startup. Now, your idea prima facie, if you say organic fishery, is not a startup. It is a business. Now, that's why I said, and therefore any business and every business is a good business, right? From a salon to a food delivery to a fishery to a toy shop, everything is a good business. You will have to then figure out how do you make it innovative and how you reach out to more people. Now, in order to that, the only 2 tips I can give you is, number one, even your idea is little generic and vague at this point in time, business plan is one document that is for you. So you don't jump into creating a pitch deck. You should start by creating a business plan, something which is a document and that covers whatever you want to do and achieve. See, again, when you do it, that shows your conviction, that shows your commitment, that shows that you have done something on paper and you are serious about it. It is as simple as that, right? So when you put in effort into somebody, the next person will also treat you seriously. Then you take this plan and talk to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in your own network and recruit them as partners. The more people you bring on the table, the more brainstorming you can do, and the more finer way you can, in a better way you can refine your idea. Then once that is done, then you can start with a small pilot project. So initially create a B plan, create a plan that shows at least your potential partners what you want to achieve, right? And then reach out to women entrepreneurs or potential women collaborators, women partners that you say, because then they will see that you are serious about something and this is something that you want to do, and then maybe you can bring them on board. At least I think this should work out for you. Yeah. Any follow-on question?
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I think in your initial presentation, you you said that you were planning to talk on the business plan, but somehow you skipped to the pitch, this one presentation. So I want to ask, do you have the business plan, explanation in your YouTube channel so that we can watch it later?
So I have not made a video on a business plan as such, but I need to find if I can give you a link. Maybe I'll find a business plan video somewhere, or I'll create one, and I can share a few references with Dr. Sheenu. I'll do that. Because see, typically I think the only reason I said you need a business plan is because you are very, very early, and you don't want to go to investors or not start, but you want to talk to potential partners. That's the reason. Otherwise, if you can even start with a pitch deck, that will work out for you, because see, the idea is to create any kind of a document that you can show to people and tell what is in your mind. And any physical document, or any, like when I say physical, any kind of a digital or any kind of a document, will tell people that you are serious, right? Because that will act as a good base for communication. Imagine if I have come today and if I don't have a PPT, if I'm not prepared, if I don't know anything, then you will be like, oh, he's just doing time pass. So any kind of that kind of a document will help you to get the first level of confidence from the people side. So that was the idea. But yes, of course, I will give you the B plan, videos. I can search and give you a link of you. I can mail it to you.
Thank you so much.
We can take up one or two more questions, then we'll wrap. Any further questions, folks? Dr. Sheenu, will you also be able to share the YouTube channel link with them? I can send it to you in WhatsApp.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Anything about call for action in their pitching? Because they might not be pitching to investors, as you said, right?
Right.
They might be pitching it for some competition. They might be pitching to some jury. They might be looking for some partners.
Yes.
So in those cases, what should be the focus of their story?
Okay. So see, call to action can be technically anything that helps them get the transaction done, right? So for example, now when I'm asking them to go to my YouTube channel, that's also a transaction, right? So anything, because there are around 15-16 people, they have given their 1.5 hours to me, listening to me. I have given them my 1.5 hours, and there has to be some transaction. So ideally, any kind of a interaction should lead into at least 20, 30, 40% of call to action conversion, so that people can remember you. And it's a great point that you have put up, Dr. Sheenu, that in most of the cases, they might not be pitching for funding. So what are the call to actions they can have? So number one, they can ask for potential mentors and people who can support them or mentor them and coach them at initial level and help them refine the idea or refine the product. So it can either be a business mentor, it can be a product mentor, it can be a general mentor who can help them. So they can, when they're presenting, they can say, hey, I'm looking for a business mentor, a business advisor, a financial advisor. Is any of you willing to help me out? Or and the reason when you say it out loud, a lot of people will respond that, hey, I run a similar business, or I know somebody who runs a similar business, and I can connect. So that is one thing they can do. Second is, if they are already in the product stage, they can definitely tell them that I would want you to try my product for free, and maybe, or you can offer a discount or something. So that is another call to action. You can also ask for potential co-founders, potential team members. If you're hiring for interns, that can be another call to action. Worst case is like, share, subscribe, right? So in the worst case scenario, you can tell people that, hey, can you go and like my Facebook page? Can you go and like my YouTube channel? Can you go back and can you like my Instagram post, or can you follow me on Instagram? I know 100% people will not do that. But if you not say it upfront, nobody will do it, because they will neither think about it, nor they are so good that they will do it, and they need a push. Everybody needs a push. So I'm sure once they do it, at least 5 people will land on their Instagram, and that they might see something that make them curious, and they might possibly DM them, hey, I saw this on your page, can we talk about this further? And I'm sure that this will help them in generating some sort of a transaction on multiple fronts other than just conventional sales.
Sounds good. Anyone else has any other questions?
Dilnawaz, now we were just listen to the whatever discussions we have had. the point again is, we, as Dr. Sheenu said, we don't have to make this presentation to any investor or any financial unit or somebody. We are like, if I talk of myself, I'm in a very pre-ideation, I would not say ideation, pre-ideation stage, right? I have a very, very faint idea in my mind, and this is something I want to bring it on the table. Now, the point is, there's still a lot of clarity that I need to bring in. Okay. Now, in this stage, would it be a great idea that I immediately go and prepare a pitch deck or business plan? I need to first, as we say, well research is well begun. Okay. So unless I have this clarity that this is what I want and this is I want to, there could be a lot of other aspects that would be coming later on unless I present it to people. Okay. So what would you suggest? How would I be making my presentation? In what direction it should be?
So in your case, pitch deck is not required, number one, because you're not pitching to investors. You are very, very early. Second, but yes, you for sure need a business plan. So, okay, but before I concretely answer that question, have you narrowed down onto the idea, or you haven't even narrowed down onto the idea?
No, I have narrowed down to the idea.
Okay. Yeah. So for anybody who has not narrowed down onto the idea, he's juggling between 2 to 3 ideas. There are certain tools that you can use. There are certain frameworks, around 4 or 5 frameworks that you can run your idea through, put your idea through. In fact, for anybody who's into pre-idea ideation stage or haven't frozen the idea, there's another 1.5 hour YouTube video on my channel called How to Validate Your Idea. So you can run through it. There are certain tools and frameworks that will help you to fine tune the idea and narrow down from 5 ideas to 1, right? Now, once you've finalized one idea, you want to bring it to life. But before you bring it to life, there are certain hypotheses you have created that this maybe he is a potential customer. Maybe this is the potential price point. Maybe this is the potential market. All of these things will be refined only when you have some sort of a visual document that gives an idea and helps you to look at from the bird's eye point of view, right? So in that case, either you start working on LMC, Lean Model Canvas, right? Okay. That's the ideal tool for you to begin with. Or what you can do is you can start working on the B plan. These are both the tools you can work on. You can choose either or you can work on both of them. Because I don't work with startups and I don't work on B plans in general, if you ask me to narrow it down for you, ideally you should start creating Lean Model Canvas. Again, for everybody's understanding, guys, don't get confused between LMC and BMC. Lean Model Canvas is different than BMC. BMC was the original document by Alexander Osterwald, and BMC ka derivative hai Lean Model Canvas. BMC is done by serious running operating businesses with revenue. Lean Model Canvas is for people like you who are even pre-revenue and pre-operations and are just contemplating onto what needs to be done. So if you have to choose between the two, go for LMC. If you think no, LMC would be little advanced, create a B plan and then migrate onto LMC, and the more you then work on it, you'll get better clarity every time, and then you can prove your hypothesis and figure out what works for you and what does not work for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Do you have access to the framework templates and everything? Do you want me to pass on a few to you?
That would be great if you can do that.
Okay. So Dr. Sheenu, aap ek kaam kijiye na, can you just make a note of like things that I can pass on to the people here? Maybe I can give a BMC document. I can give a LMC document.
BMC they already have. They have Alexander Osterwalder's canvas.
Acha, BMC hai na? To bas fir to LMC to they can Google. Or you can maybe give
I'll
de dena, you can give the LMC.
Or we can Google it out. That is not an issue.
Any which way, because you know the BMC. The idea was that if BMC bhi nahi pata, to LMC will be difficult. You have already done the BMC, so LMC will be, it's easier for you to find it, right?
Okay.
All right. Shall we wrap then? Or any
other questions? Everybody is now worried about putting it together. Well, thank you so much, Dilnawaz. For sharing your insights and, putting it all together so briefly. It was wonderful hearing you always. And I'm sure all the participants got a lot of clarity on what they're contemplating on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thank you for inviting. And I hope to be in touch. And let me know if I can be of any help. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And
you're coming up with more programs, so I'll get in touch with you.
Definitely.
Thank you so very much, Dilnawaz, for
wonderful
insights.
Yes. Pleasure. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
I request all the participants to stay back for 5 minutes. So guys, we are almost on the close of this 1 month journey, and now you guys will be working on your final presentations. Don't get confused. As I said, we are not making a plan document, but we are making a plan into a small presentation. As we say, when we are putting anything on drawing board or a canvas, we know that what we want to do, and it also gives us chance to understand where we have drawbacks and where we want to go back on the drawing board and improve those things, right? So these presentations will help you to understand and figure out what are the gaps, what are the missing areas that you need to work on. Even when you decide that you want to make your house, you go to architect or you design the drawing of the house. Similarly, these business plan pitch decks help you in designing your, idea and putting it together at one place. So don't get scared or, think that how I will do it, but just take care of these points in mind that, you have to do it into a stipulated period of time and put your things very, very precisely and in a very short and crisp manner. In case if you have queries related to your own ideas and plans, I can do a 1-hour session with you tomorrow where I can take all your individual queries. And I can show you some sample decks also. Will that work?
Yes, yes.
So what we can do, we can meet from 4 to 5 tomorrow where, think about your ideas, start making your presentations, and wherever you are getting stuck, I will help you out tomorrow on looking into that. Right, so we'll meet tomorrow at 4 for an hour and discuss any kinds of queries and questions that you have in your mind, and the final presentations on 31st.
Sheenu ma'am, can we make it 5 to 6?
5 to 6 is little difficult for me tomorrow since I'm occupied. Oh, okay. But in case if you're not able to be there for 4 to 5, I can speak to you individually for your queries, or you can listen to the recording.
Okay, I'll try to be there. If not, I'll contact you.
Yeah, you can get in touch with me over the phone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Priyanka, you want to say something?
Yes. Actually, my project, I am working in Indian Institute of Sugarcane Research. So there I am working on a project, on a DST funded project.
Okay.
So I am working on the preservation of sugarcane juice.
Okay. Right?
तो उसमें क्या है कि हमारे यहाँ we have a pilot plant for jaggery manufacturing. So हमारे यहाँ से they give training to various people throughout India. So people they come and they get trained and they learn how to make the jaggery, a hygienic jaggery and a very well packaged jaggery. So there are many people with whom I also talk. So हम लोग मतलब like I'm working on a preservation of sugarcane juice. That is my project. And simultaneously, I make a lot of value-added products with jaggery. So,
wonderful.
तो हम लोग मतलब पैकेज प्रोडक्ट्स भी बनाते हैं, पैकेजिंग वगैरह. मतलब actually,
yeah, so it's a good idea.
Basically, I am a food technologist. Yes. So I am a food technologist, and many students like BTech students and MTech students, they come to us, and so we make I help them also. And I enjoy making various products with it. So
that's a good idea. So when you are making those products, also devise a marketing plan for it so that you can actually sell these products into the market.
So instead of I thought there are many bakery products which can be made with jaggery, and with jaggery also those people who are making the jaggery, so they I have done many experiments, small experiments I have done. So usme we add many things like alsi to improve its nutritive value of jaggery. A person who is eating a jaggery can also enjoy this stuff. And in the same way, it is very nutritious. It is recommended to take 1.5 gram of alsi every day. There are many literature is there. So
so you can do that. I mean, anything that you think about it in terms of food items, just think about it, how you're going to market, who will be the customers, who are you going to sell it to, Why will they like it? And automatically your plan will come into place.
तो अभी जो मैंने पहले I thought of like इन लोगों को मतलब थोड़ा सा मतलब I know many people like many bakery people also and those people who are making who have learned how to make the jaggery from us and they are making the jaggery and they are selling their products. तो इनसे ही करके एक रिटेल आउटलेट मतलब उनको एक निश दे दें कि कहाँ वहाँ पे सब अपने प्रोडक्ट सेल कर सकते हैं. अभी मतलब मैंने इस तरह से सोचा. फिर शुगरकेन जूस जो मार्केट में अवेलेबल है, मैंने बहुत सारी मार्केट स्टडी करी थी. मतलब हम लोगों ने माइक्रोबियल एनालिसिस की थी. तो हमारे लाइक आई एम इन लखनऊ, तो हम लोगों ने कई जगह से मतलब अच्छी शॉप से भी और जो रोड साइड वेंडर्स हैं उनसे भी लेके मैंने शुगरकेन जूस पे स्टडी करी. तो मतलब हम लोगों के यहाँ जो रिकमेंडेड है माइक्रोबियल काउंट उससे ज्यादा ही मिली सबकी.
Right. So this is a problem that you identified, right? And your product will take care of that.
हाँ, हमने इसलिए सोचा कि जो हमारी आउटलेट होगा उसमें एक शुगरकेन जूस वेंडिंग मशीन भी हम रखेंगे कि कस्टमर लाइक जैसे शुगरकेन कैफे टाइप का एक आइडिया हमने फिर सोचा कि इसमें शुगरकेन जूस भी हो और ये सब जैगरी के प्रोडक्ट्स भी हो.